Okay, let's have a real conversation. Did you know that since 2011, the Canadian dollar has dropped over 30%? That means even if you're earning more today, you're still only able to buy less. Why? Gas gone up, rent gone up, groceries gone up, all of them going up, 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 and up. However, your wage is going up just enough to make sure that you're still stressed and hopefully you're not starving. So let's ask the real question. Is Canada already in a recession? Or what can you do about it before it gets worse? So today we're going to be breaking down what is a recession, and not in them complicated ways. We're going to break it down as simple as possible for everyone to understand. Next, why does your money feel allergic to just staying valuable? Why does it just keep depreciating? And also, we're going to talk about how to recession-proof your life without you having to becoming an economist or some kind of big businessman on Wall Street. We're going to give you the simple ways and methods in order to be able to protect yourself. And the most important, how to invest smartly while everyone else is freaking out. So let's get into it before it gets worse. So, what exactly is a recession? And don't worry, you don't need a dictionary. You could toss that away. A recession happens when an economy starts to shrink for 2 straight quarters. Translation, that means people are getting laid off, their spending habits starts to change, now they're spending way less, and also, instead of you ordering Uber Eats, you're walking to McDonald's to pick up your order. Now here's the worst part. Typically, by the time the government comes out and starts admitting that we are in a recession, that means we're pretty much been in one for a few months now. So here are some warning signs that you should care about. When you see GDP growth is crawling like a snail. When inflation keeps eating away from your money, no matter how much you make, you just can't get ahead. You have to pay attention to when interest rates are at high, and when it's time for you to pay your mortgage, it's time to cry. And here in Canada, the biggest signal is when the housing market starts to cool down. And not in a cute, affordable way. We're talking in levels where real estate agents and mortgage brokers are very, very concerned. So, are we in a technical recession yet? Maybe not. But if it walks like a duck, bankrupts like a duck, I think you get it. But the better question is, are you prepared? So let's talk about the thing that no one really wants to admit. Even if your salary went up, your purchasing power was tanking. You see, $100 in 2011 is equivalent to having about $130 today. Now, the question is, why? Well, inflation kept increasing. Wage growth was pretty much flat or barely increasing. The dollar's value kept declining. So I want to show y'all some math, and I want to keep it as simple as possible just so that you can have a visual to understand exactly what I'm talking about. So hear this. I took the average for inflation, and it said from 2011 to today, inflation was roughly 3% every year. Now, if you were to take the value of the dollar going down, the dollar decreased in value 2% every year. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Simple math. So I say that to say, if you were keeping your hard-earned money in a savings account that was giving you 0.1% of interest, that means you would have lost 4.9% of your purchasing power. Get it? So in translation, you're working harder and harder. You're putting in them overtime hours. You're working hard. You're showing the boss, I come in here to do my work so I can get paid. However, your hard-earned money is actually buying you less stuff. And just switching to no brand cereal won't fix it. And that is why you need a plan. A real plan. And not just the cut back on lattes kind of plan. We're talking a recession-proof plan that can help set you up for the future. You see, if a recession hits, the people who get hit the hardest are the people who are not prepared. So here's how not to be that person. So first things first, you need an emergency fund. Now, I'm not going to give you just a vague, hey, just save up 12 months worth of expenses. No. I'm going to make it a little bit specific, so hopefully it helps you more. So if you believe that you have what we call a stable job, meaning you're a teacher, you're a nurse, you're probably an engineer, you're probably a civil servant, then you're at the very minimum, you're looking to save 3 months worth of expenses. Now, if you're more of a freelancer or you're a creative person and you don't have that stability, now you're looking at 6 to 8 months minimum. Yes, I know it's a lot. However, you need to be able to prepare yourself for the worst case scenario. Next, you want to be able to tighten your spending. You don't want to just be on Amazon every day, just buying things left, right, center. Nah, that's not what we're doing. You want to be able to restrict your spending and become very serious about not overspending. Not every Friday you have to treat yourself. That is preparing you for a disaster. The other thing you want to pay attention to is your credit card. You see that interest on that 20+%? That is massive fees that's just going to keep you in that debt quicksand and you won't be able to get out. Another critical thing that you want to do is add another income stream. And I'm not saying you need to work 4 or 5 jobs. No, you want to start looking for the higher paying jobs. You actually want to start looking for those stable jobs. There are jobs out there that are in higher demand and they are less impacted by recessions. We're talking about nurses, electricians, engineers, cybersecurity, welders, plumbers, and one that people don't really talk about, correctional officers. Some of them start off at $80,000 and can make up to $100,000. You also get access to the government benefits and other sectors of the government you could apply to and put yourself and infiltrate to secure your future. Now, for the people who like to hold cash, when you're building that emergency fund, please ensure it is not in a low yield account. Meaning, if the bank is only offering you 0.1% or 1%, that's a no bueno. You want to put your account in an easy accessible account that gives you between 3 to 5% interest. And not just your cash account. That's money, something was to happen, you're able to access it. However, you don't want it to stay in a place where it's getting less than 1%. Another thing you want to do is watch the interest rates. Bank of Canada, they're in a cutting cycle. So the cost of borrowing is actually getting cheaper. However, if you're someone already buried in debt and diving more and more in debt, this is not for you. Delete. Stop listening. I'm joking. Keep listening. But you get the point. Stop putting yourself in debt. Stop ignoring your debt case, because that's something you will have to pay off. If not you, your family will have to take that burden at some point. So here's the thing. Don't do what everyone else is doing. Meaning, don't panic sell your stocks. Don't early withdraw from your RSP and take that massive hit. And don't just cry in a corner. Instead, what you want to be doing is start looking for the sales in the stock market. You want to be able to start buying quality companies that can help your money grow over a long period of time. You see, when recessions come around, stocks tend to get a lot cheaper. And that is when smart investors like myself tend to go shopping and we go heavy. We want to be able to buy stocks when they're a lot cheaper as opposed to the high prices. When it comes to real estate, if prices are dropping, this is an opportunity. However, do not overextend yourself. Renting isn't shameful. Buying a house you can't afford is. You can also start looking for dividend stocks. These are stocks that will pay you on a monthly or a quarterly basis while the market does its thing during a recession. So that way you can actually make income while the market does its up and down, zig and zag, and the whole works. So the other two things you can look at is gold and Bitcoin. You see, when you have an inflation problem, gold is typically a good hedge against that. And when you're having a currency devaluation problem, Bitcoin or crypto tends to be one of those safe havens. However, you want to be able to use wisely and not obsessively. But just so you know, recessions actually make millionaires. But you can only take advantage of this situation only if you're prepared. But if you got bills and debt, and when you open up the fridge, you want to cry, then it's time to prepare yourself. The good news, you don't have to be scared. You just need a plan, and now you have one. Now drop in the comments for me to let me know what are the one thing you are not cutting out regardless if it's a recession or not. You can also click the link in my description to sign up for my free newsletter where you will get a full recession-proof plan when I send out these emails. And also please, if you like the content I provide and you want to keep learning, please make sure you hit subscribe, you hit the like button, and even the bell so that you can get notified when I drop my next informative video. So see you in the next one. Stay smart and stay scrappy. Don't worry, we got this.